What's going on? This is Dice Squad. I am Marshall Dice, known as Adam Campbell, and I'm live here at Origins Game Fair 2016 with
Rob Ortiz
and Greg Ortiz.
of
We're from O2 Games, the makers of Aethersteel.
Aethersteel. I think I talked to you guys last year.
You did. We had a couple of technical difficulties, but we're glad we were able to track you down this time and get through it this time.
Absolutely. Now, an Aethersteel. What is an Aethersteel?
So Aethersteel is actually a metal. Quick rundown in the game universe. What we have a pantheon of gods. Think like your Greek gods.
Okay.
Now, the problem is they have no Zeus character. They have no king of the gods. So they had a big argument over which one of them is actually the most superior, and they made a decision. We're going to have a game. Each of us is going to build our own race in our own perfect image, and then we're going to let them fight it out. And whoever's the victor is the superior god. Now, what they ended up doing was, in order to get their power forged into their races, they created a material called Aethersteel. Aethersteel allows the magical energies of our universe to be seen physically in the real world.
Pretty cool. And I noticed you have a lot of different races. How many different races do you have in Aethersteel?
Well, we actually have 12 that are in development. Currently, we have 3 that are ready for launch.
Okay.
So the 3 races that we have, we've actually got a couple representations here. But we have our Legion. The Legion is a combat race. Think Spartans, that sort of a thing. So they're very based around the idea of honorific combat and glory through conquest and things along those lines. They're very fast-moving, very right in your face, a lot of heavy bullets going out there, so just tons of dice. If that's the type of person that you want to be, they're the guys to go with.
Sounds like my kind of troops.
All right. And we designed each of the races to try to fit different player niches. So over here on my side, I've got the Technocrats. And the Technocrats, they're our sci-fi guys. These guys, they don't really want to get up in your face. They're not really all that into the combat side of things, but they are massively armored, and they have weapons that will just put you down in a single shot. So I don't get very many hits, but I warn you, if I hit you, that's it.
They also have a kind of cool spherical design.
Yeah, so these guys actually are really interesting. These are actually our skirmish bots. And when we first actually developed them, I'll be completely honest, they were not at all my favorite model by any stretch of the imagination. And I'm a Technocrat player, so these guys are my babies. When we brought them here to Origins last year, everyone went nuts for them. And since then, they've actually been one of the most popular, most talked about pieces that we have. They're really, really cool, and they're very, very versatile.
And I understand this year you also have another new race coming?
We do. Yep, the Magi. So we've only got a couple of representations of that here on the table, but we've got a full race ready to go. And the Magi is our fantasy group, so it's all that heavy casting. They're a little bit more challenging, so if you've got players that are veterans of the tabletop games, they might be better suited for those guys. They're broken into 2 really different dichotomies of how you play. So you've got your swordsmen who have no magical capabilities. They're not very offensive, but they've got a lot of armor. They'll hold back the enemy as long as possible while our mages charge up. And once the mages hit critical mass, we're raining fire down and just taking everything out.
So you guys seem like you have played a lot of role-playing games. Am I correct?
We've played a lot of role-playing games, tabletop games, card games.
We play a lot of games.
Doesn't everybody?
Well, here. So can you show me how I know we did last year, but could you mind showing me a few simple turns on how to play Aethersteel?
Absolutely. So a couple of things that we've done differently in this game. Like some of the more modern tabletop games, all the information you need for the game is on the cards. So there's actual player cards, unit cards here. And it's a skirmish-style game, so it's a back and forth. So I'd move one unit, then you get to move another unit, so on and so forth. The second thing that we've done is everybody gets to build a customized Aeon deck. So think like a Magic the Gathering type of thing, where we've got over 120 different cards. You get to pick between 40 or 60, depending on size of game, number of cards. Build that deck however you want. You want to be very offensive? Sure. You want to be defensive? Okay. You want to just mess with your opponent? We encourage that too. So we draw our cards. So go ahead and draw 7 cards.
All right.
I'm just going to set these guys out here. Now, normally we'd hold these cards hidden from each other. Obviously, I don't want you to see what I've got, but for the purposes of demo, I'll just let them out here.
Works for me.
All right. So what we're going to do, we'll just roll initiative. Everything in this game is a 10-sided die, and low numbers are better. It's a little different than some others. All right, so go ahead and roll. I rolled a 1.
I rolled an 8.
You got an 8. All right, so I'm going to get to go first.
Ah,
Hey, can't all be winners.
that's true.
So on the card, there's all the movement. So I've got advancing and charging, kind of walking, running, your partial moves, full moves, that sort of thing. And these guys can move about 6 inches. So I'd measure it out. I know for a fact this is already less than 6. So I'm going to move them up. And then they have an actual attack range of 12 inches.
You're in range.
So we go ahead and measure. And I'm at a little bit of 11 inches. Right around there. We're going from base to base. So here's where the real mechanics of the game come in. On my card, I've got a power 1 for my weapon, and my tech, or the stat that these guys use, is a 3. So that gives me a 4 to hit. But what I do is I subtract your tech. So if you take a look at your card, you'll see you've got 4 different stats. The first one's ether, second one's combat, third one's tech. So what's your
Okay.
tech number?
2.
All right, so it's 4 minus the 2 means I have a 2 as my to hit. I have to do that on a 10-sided die. I have 3 models. I got to try to hit as many as I can on 10-sided die. So a 20% chance, not a very high likelihood.
Fingers crossed.
I don't like those odds. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to increase my odds. So I'm going to play a card that gives me tech plus 1.
That's not good.
All right, so now I'm a base to hit of 3. But I also want to be able to re-roll any of my missed attacks. So I have another card that lets me re-roll any missed values. So I'm going to play that one as well. Now, I can't just throw all of these cards onto this unit. What happens is, once I start playing additional cards on here, I have to sacrifice. I have to choose what out of my hand I no longer want to keep to pay the penalty of playing an additional card on top of here.
Okay.
So I'm going to have to take this one, which is a nice armor defensive card, and get rid of it. But now I still have that base to hit of 3, and I can re-roll any of my misses.
Okay.
So I've definitely increased my odds. So let's go ahead and see what we do here. Okay, so I got 2 hits,
Ow.
and I get to re-roll this one. And it's an 8, so it's a miss. All right, so 2 hits come to you. In this case, I have an armor penetration of 1. Your armor, which is the gray value, is a 0. Too bad, so sad. Defender gets to choose, but you lose 2 models.
Ow. All right.
All right, and my turn's over. I'm going to tap these guys to let everybody know that we've moved, and then I'm done, and it moves over to you.
My turn.
Your turn.
All right. So I can move. So movements.
Movement's the beginning, so you got 4 inches or 7 inches, depending.
We're gonna charge because that's the way we roll here.
All right.
I have a good idea.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. Yeah, give me
Oh,
some
you're
pointers
going to help
here.
him out here? Come
I'm
on,
gonna
Greg.
give
I
you
haven't
some
won a
help
game
here.
all day.
All right.
This is my chance to win.
All right, so you got 1 rifleman left here. He's okay. These are your heavy melee guys, and they can hit pretty hard. They have a run of 7 inches. Not going to make it to the skirmish spots.
Okay.
But we have the power of an Aeon on our side.
We do.
We're not going to settle for that.
We are not.
So I'm going to drop this double time on them, and that gives them +2 run. So now they can run 9.
Okay.
That's still not going to make
Still
it.
not enough.
So I'm going to drop a second double time on them.
Because we're pissed, man. We're
Uh-oh.
charging in.
We're going in. And that lets us run 11. But that still might not be enough.
You can just barely get that first guy.
So I have to discard a card to play the second card.
All right.
Now I have Divine Step. This card plays for free, so I don't have to discard. It also gives me plus speed equal to the number of cards on that unit. So I'm going to throw this down, and this is going to be
this is
an
gonna hurt.
additional +3. So my run is 7, 9, 11, plus 3 is 14.
Yeah, we're gonna hit.
And
You can make it all the way to the other side of the board.
we could run behind them now if we wanted.
Ooh.
Oh.
All right. Well, let's. So we're gonna move up.
If you weren't my brother, I'd be very upset at you right now. Nope.
So I can
Correction. I'm very upset at you right
Move, and
now.
I can move this guy too, or just.
Just the squad.
Just the
so
squad?
he's in a different squad.
All right.
All right.
So we're
and
going
now,
in.
Now we can stab them with our sword,
Yes.
which is going to be your combat, plus the power of your longsword there.
so 4.
plus your power of your longsword.
7.
Minus his combat.
Which is only a 2.
Oh, how the tables have turned. All right. So then I need to roll
2 dice.
2 dice.
2 dice for your 2 units, and you're looking at a 5 or less.
5 or less.
A 6 and a 3.
All right.
That's definitely a hit. At least one hit. And I'm going to take a quick look at my cards, and I do not have much in the way of defensive cards I can play, so it looks like I'm going to end up taking that. If you look at your weapon, you have an armor penetration on it.
Of 2.
All right. My armor is 3. So I managed to soak 2 of your armor penetration. I got a 1 or 10% chance. I got to roll a 1 or less.
Come on, come on, come on.
No, not going to happen. All right. So there's your victory points. Crap.
So even though we did a cool combo, we only have 3 cards left in our hand
All right.
for the round. So the cards are a limited resource that we have to use carefully. But I think in this case, it was worth it.
Yeah.
It's definitely
and
worth it.
These guys are not very good in melee, so now that you're stuck them in melee, they're pretty much useless. So I'm just going to kind of say bye-bye to those guys and move over here.
So you want to do at least one more turn?
Sure. Hey, we're here all day to keep playing.
That works.
All right, let me see what we can do over here. Okay. You know what? Let's see. 6 inches gets me... I'm going to have to come out a little bit from cover here. So I'm going to have to stick out here. All right. Okay. So let's try to hit this squad, which I need to be within 12 inches, and I'm only about 10 inches, so absolutely in range. Now, you get partial cover here.
Yes.
So that's going to mean that I get 1 less on my to-hit number, and then when we get to the armor stage, the second one, you get +1. So it's -1 to me, +1 to you, as far as those go. All right, so I'm going to take my tech, which is 3, +1 for the weapon, gives me a 4. Your tech on your rifleman is a 2. All right, so 4 minus 2.
2.
Plus, you get an extra defense here, or a -1 on my side.
So 1.
So I'm a 1. Now, I used up all my really good cards over here previously, so the only thing that I've got actually is not even going to help me in this case, so I'm just going to see what I can do. Nothing. All right, well, I'm
You
going to...
just pinged me.
I'm going to play a dirty trick.
What?
Now, the Technocrats, the race that we're playing here, and every deck is customizable and it's different. So the cards you have to choose from are different. One of the things the Technocrats do is they don't quite play fair. They've got the advantage of some groundbreaking technology on their hands.
Plus, they're spheres.
Well, yeah, they're just kind of a little scary. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play a card called Forbidden Knowledge. And Forbidden Knowledge lets me randomly choose one of your Aeon cards.
Oh, that's not good.
So normally I wouldn't have a clue what I was grabbing. So we're just going to... Why don't you hold them up, shuffle them for me real quick?
All right.
Because if it was me, I know exactly which one I'd grab. So I got a 1 in 3 chance here.
Good luck.
That was not it. All right. Maybe if we go for a third turn, I'll be able to use that one. All right. It's back to you. So I'm going to tap these guys. They're done. They've moved. Your turn.
All right. I need help now.
Yeah, unfortunately, we've lost most of the good cards.
But we can still hit these guys, right?
These guys have gone this round.
Oh, they're tapped. That's
so
right.
They can't go again until the end of the round. We do have a battle charge over here. If we can charge into melee, we can get a nice bonus. But we can only run 7.
And I think you're a little further than that. You are.
God.
So unfortunately, while we had an epic run over here, we ran out of speed boost cards. So we're going to have to do this the old-fashioned way and shoot them with bullets.
Okay. If all else fails, just shoot them with bullets. All right. So I got to roll.
So your combat
is 5.
Plus your power of 2.
2, so 7.
Yep.
Minus his combat.
And my combat in this case is 2. So 5's to hit.
5, so I have to roll straight 5s.
5. You want to get a 5 or less?
5 or less. Come on. Yes!
Ouch!
Ow.
You're not allowed to help anybody anymore.
Yeah.
I told you I haven't won a game all day.
They're gonna just like they're gonna shoot
I
you
think
down.
that's your problem.
We'll talk about that one later. All right. So you take a look at what your armor penetration is. Your AP on there.
Is 0.
Your armor penetration's a 1.
1.
Yep. My armor's a 3. So what I have is you hit me 3 different times. I've got three bullets I have to block, 2 or less. It's basically my armor minus your armor penetration. Let's see if I can save anybody. Woo! 2 saves. 1 guy goes bye-bye. There you go.
All right. So I guess with this game, how were you inspired to like create this game?
It's actually a pretty cool story. So we grew up very, very poor. I mean, we never really wanted for anything, but we didn't have any of the money to buy any of the games that were really hot at the time. So when we were going through school, it was Magic, and there was the Star Wars Decipher games and things like that, but we couldn't really be part of those. So we ended up getting a lot of the extras. So people would go out, they'd buy Magic cards, they'd have tons and tons of the commons, and they'd give them to us. Or we could buy them for really cheap from those guys. But obviously you don't really have the cards to play the game properly. So what we ended up doing is we wrote our own rule sets and created a game called Chaos. It was essentially just Pokemon cards and Star Wars cards and Magic cards and whatever the heck we could find, and merged them all together and made a rule set. And people would walk up to us at like lunch and things like that, and they'd see that we were playing the game. They'd go, you're playing the game wrong. And we go, no, it's a different game. And we'd explain it to them. And before long, the local kids were actually buying cards to then not play the actual games, but instead to play Chaos. So as time went on, we continued to do this sort of thing. And actually, there was a period of time where a local game store near us even carried the plastic army men, because we'd made a miniatures game using the little plastic army men and a rule set for that, just called World War II. And they started carrying them just because people were asking. So years went by, we grew apart, we got jobs and all that sort of stuff, and I became a very serious card game player. So Magic the Gathering was my primary one. Greg, on the other hand, ended up playing a lot of tabletop games. You were like Warhammer and War Machine and
BattleTech, and I played some Infinity and a mix of things. For the Maelstrom.
So what started to end up happening, though, was he needed a person to play a tabletop game with. I needed somebody to play card games with. I didn't like tabletop games. In my view, tabletop games are just far too expensive to get into. You spend an hour just marching up the field to get to the point where you then start having fun. And in a lot of cases, you get to the point where you can almost see the army that someone else is putting down and go, okay, those guys kill them, they kill that, they kill this. All right, why are we even bothering to play? This is my completely biased opinion on it. Greg was not a very big card game player. Some of those same, I don't know, what's wrong with a card game?
You know, while I certainly enjoyed the strategy of a tabletop miniature game, in a card game, whoever buys the best cards wins, and you're completely at the mercy of your random deck. So
I completely agree. I used to be a big Magic the Gathering player, and eventually I learned that Magic is, guess what? My money pile's bigger than your money pile. I win. So, I'm more Pokemon now. I'm more actually good with Pokemon.
Yeah.
Magic, though, forget it. I just sold my collection yesterday. So
okay.
But so what we ended up doing was we said, okay, let's be let's be mature adults and figure out what are their actual good values of a tabletop miniatures game, what are the good values of a card game, why do we like each of those, and let's see, can we combine those together. So that was where Aethersteel came from. It's fast-paced, so you start very close together. Games take only an hour, maybe 2 hours for a fairly large game. And even if I know exactly every single model that you have on the table, my hand, which is made out of a deck that's completely custom to me, could completely mess up your entire strategies.
Yeah, I set out to, make a game we could play together. So we combined, the features we liked from a tabletop war game with the features we liked from a card game. And we got rid of a lot of the features we didn't like. So in Aether Steel, the cards are all fixed. You can buy all the cards. There's no rares. So it doesn't matter how much money you have. Everyone has the same selection of cards. And the board size is small to keep it very affordable for people getting into miniature games. And it's very fast-paced, and it's easy to learn.
A little.
And, I
was just going to say, a little of our mindset brought us back to when we started. We wanted a game that we could have played at the lunchroom, at the lunch table. So it has to be finished in under an hour. Has to be something that you can buy on a 13-year-old, 15-year-old's income. And it's got to be easy to learn and easy to find another player for.
kind of best of the both worlds.
And that was the hope.
A little bit of sweet and sour kind of.
That was the idea.
Yep.
And if you're not here at Origins, and I don't understand why you're not, I mean, all these people here, where can people find an Aether Steel?
So right now, best place to get any of the information on it is literally aethersteel.com. We keep that updated. We've got all sorts of updates on the new models coming out, new cards, that sort of stuff. Game's not quite available for sale just yet, so we're going to be keeping you on the rope here. We're looking to do a launch fairly soon. We had done a Kickstarter about a year ago, and it brought to light a lot of the things that the player base wants. So we went back to the drawing board a little bit and have started to tweak a couple of things and make it stand out even more, make it a little bit more accessible to people. And we're looking to do a new launch fairly soon.
Awesome. And we'll have a link below to check that out. I'd like to thank you guys for being on the show.
Hey, absolute pleasure.
Great to be here, Adam.
Even if you look like you're going to beat me, I still like you.
Well, I appreciate that. But from all of us here at Dice Squad, continuing our coverage of Origins Game Fair 2016, this is Marshall Dice, known as Adam Campbell, with
Rob Ortiz of O2 Games
and Greg Ortiz.
And we'll see you guys later.